So our new anime begins with the romantic scene and music, where male and female protagonists were introduced. But soon it backflipped as Akane threatened the guy to never let the class know about their marriage. Well, 4 days ago, everything was normal. Akane was scolding Saito for not writing class log properly, and Akane, she hates that Saito never does one job properly. But Saito thinks she's such a buzzkill and keeps bothering him. And just then, Himari comes in to stop Akane before Saito starts crying. Everyone knows that Akane always gets angry when Saito is around. And Akane said even looking at his face makes her want to squash him like a bug, that level of irritation she has. But Sato's cute and gorgeous little sister named Shizui came in to comfort him. And Himari thought Akane loves the guy so much that she always involves herself with Saito. And only in this topic both Nemesis supports each other, that never in a million years they could fall for one another anyways. After the school, Saito got a call from his Gramps, and he invited Saito to tea. Saito refuses, but Gramps was a piece of work too. That's why Grandpa had a better choice to bring in his only heir for a talk with, or without his consent. Saito was used to this type of methods, so he hops into the car. Saito was an heir to the Hojo Group. A while back, that company was about to go bankrupt, but his grandpa took over at the nick of time and grew it into a multi-billion-dollar company. And even at 60th age-old man is still sharp as ever, and he's very fond of Saito rather than his own child. So Saito arrived at the place and was waiting out while he saw his nemesis here. Both were forced to get here by their grandparents. And even while waiting, they just can't keep quiet and picks a fight with each other. And right, their old folks got here and thought their kids are getting along well. They old geezers were here to celebrate for some reason, but both kids sure were opposite though. So Saito asked the reason for bringing them here, and they said Akane and Saito have to marry each other. Both got a high voltage shock. So the hag and geezer said the second time that both of them have to marry. Well, Chiyo and Tenryu were just like them, always fighting, yet they loved each other. But an argument split them apart, and after that both married someone else and stayed with their partner loyally. But Tenryu lost his wife 10 years ago, and Chiyo was a widow for a long time too. So both are seeing each other now. But since they couldn't get to live their youth together, they want to see their heirs living out their youth together. But Saito thinks it's illegal to force a marriage upon children. But Senior Citizen knew something like this would come up, so they already had planned for that. That is, Tenryu had picked a dog and would pass on his wealth to dog if Saito refuses to marry. Tenryu knows Saito needs his wealth to make his dream come true. As for Akane, Chiyo whispers something to her, maybe a secret threat or so, and gives 3 days to decide whether or not to agree. Akane didn't know what to do, because the situation is clearly fucked up. And Saito asked what Chiyo said, but Akane was embarrassed to say it out loud, so Saito didn't pry any further. Akane had tried her best to get the top place, but Saito always beats her to it. So she was ticked that a lazy punk takes her place. But there Himari calls her, so Akane asked her what she would do if marriage was forced on her. And Himari said she won't marry because she already has a crush on someone. So Himari asked Akane if she loves someone, but far from love, she has someone she hates. So Himari said it's all the more reason to get married, and plus point of marriage is they share everything together. But Akane was worried about sleeping and doing that. And Himari teaches her that it's a natural thing to give birth to future generations to expand the family. And for Saito, he was thinking that he's marrying the she-devil, who never allows him to live in school, would never let him live at home as well. Shizui noticed her brother in distress. And Saito told her the reason of his headache is their grandfather, because he threatened to pass his wealth to a stray dog. Saito said he wants to live his life while having the company as well. But Shizui tells him that no one could have everything they desire, meaning to choose the company over freedom. But Shizui said it's fine to not choose that as well, because she'll support him no matter what he does. And then the time limit was up, and both decided to get married for their future's sake. Both were surprised by it, because they didn't discuss it with each other before, but it's still way long in the future, because they'll have to finish up college first. But Grandpa was a quick one, and had already bought a home for the new couple to live in and make love. What's more is that both Chiyo and Tenryu had already brought in Saito and Akane's belongings beforehand, such a devilishly good grandparents. And Saito locked the door when they entered, and Akane thought he was about to assault her, but literally it's locked from inside, so she could open it if she wants to. And later they saw the house was pretty good, but the only problem is that they have to share such a dreamlike house with each other. The bathroom was surely romantic, and the study room was a normal. Then comes the main problem. They only had one bed in the house, so Saito called the geezer, and Tenryu wants them to elope as fast as they can. And that's an important rule, that they can't sleep anywhere else but in the bed. Chiyo is also rooting for them. So Saito thought there could be a hidden camera here, but there wasn't, and Pillow were also saying yes. So Akane finally lost herself, because she has to do it with a moron like him. Saito was ticked about this, but Akane then threatened Saito to never touch her ever, and runs out like a cat. Then he found a pizza, and Akane was drooling when she saw this. So he invited her to eat, but she didn't want to look like a couple, but people could still eat together without looking like it. And then comes sleeping time, but it was a small bed. It was making up the mood for the business, but both were never in a relationship, so they didn't know what to do. But Saito thought, what will they do if their grandparents ask for kids as a new condition? And just then his hand touched Akane accidentally, and fight again started that night. And that's how we came back in the present day, as Akane didn't want to let their classmates know about their marriage, because it would damage her social life. Well, she thinks that little Saito. And Saito was also not up for going around announcing that they are about to marry, and they are already sleeping together under the same roof. But our episode 1 ends right there, so stay tuned to watch another episode of this anime. For that, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. Till then, take care.